We're dealt 7-Deuce offsuit under the gun +1, under the gun raises to 200. I go the aggressive route and 3-bet to 700 in order to win this pre-flop, or see a flop heads up in position against the initial pre-flop raiser. Under the gun calls for 500 more, the flop comes 8-7-3 with 2 clubs, we've got middle pair. Under the gun checks, he's down quite a bit today and doesn't seem to be in the folding mood. We've got a hand with a decent amount of value that we don't necessarily need to bluff with anyway. I check back. The turn is the 6 of clubs, we don't have a flush draw. Under the gun checks again. I've got more confidence that we've got the winner, but still don't see much purpose in betting when we don't want to get blown off of our pair. I check back. The river is the deuce of spades, giving us a highly unlikely 2 pair. Under the gun may think that we've completely missed the board. He bets 1,000. I consider raising, but I'm not sure there are many worse hands that can call us, and the flush possibility is somewhat scary. I call figuring that we're best. I show the 7-Deuce because I don't want to slow roll the opponent. He reveals that he has ace-10 offsuit. He made a speculative call pre-flop that happened to be correct. We improved, and he turned his hand into a bluff. We've caught a ton of people trying to steal our cookies today, perhaps more than any other high-stakes session. We win the main pot and an additional $200 bonus from everyone at the table. We've got a beautiful stack of almost $45,000 in front of us. We're only in for $20,000, so we've recovered everything that we lost from the session before and some extra profit to go with it. In this one, we've got Jack-10 offsuit in the big blind. Under the gun +1 raises to 200. The hijack is a new player. He got stacked his first hand at the table, but he's ready to step in the batter's box again. He calls. We're getting a discount with a hand that can make the best possible straight 4 different ways. I call for 150 more. 3 of us are seeing a flop and we're out of position. It comes Jack-8-3 rainbow. Not bad, we've got top pair and a backdoor straight draw. I check. The initial pre-flop raiser is concerned about something. He checks. The hijack probably doesn't have much. He checks back. Our top pair is likely best. The turn is the 6 of spades. There's a flush draw and a few straight draw possibilities. I bet 400 for value and for protection. The initial pre-flop raiser may have a hand with 2 spades. He calls. The hijack is a recreational player who might be steaming after immediately getting stacked. He raises to 1400. His line just doesn't make a ton of sense after he checked back the flop. This feels like a semi-bluff with some kind of combo draw. The only good hand I think that hijack would play this way is a turn set, but it's rare that someone smashes the 2-outer. I don't hate the idea of folding, particularly with another player who put money in post-flop. I'm just confident enough to continue in order to see what develops. I call for 900 more. Under the gun +1 isn't quite sure what's happening here. He calls to see a river though. I really don't want to see a spade or overcard. The river is the 8 of hearts pairing the board. Sets and 2-pair combos from our opponents have become even less likely because another 8 is accounted for. I check. Under the gun +1 checks. The hijack shows some heart as he bets 3,000. I didn't believe the story he was telling on the turn, and I don't believe him now. I'm almost positive under the gun +1 has a missed flush draw, so I'm not worried about him having us beat. It feels like the hijack has something along the lines of Queen 10 or 10-9 that missed. I dip into my bluff catching fund that's at an all-time high after picking off more players than Yadier Molina. I call. Under the gun +1 doesn't have much of a decision. He folds. Unfortunately, we don't get the result that we wanted. The hijack indeed has pocket 6s for a turn set that improved to a boat on the river. It's about the only hand that makes sense for the hijack to be betting for value. Sometimes you run into it, as I did here. I lose close to 5,000 in this hand alone. We're still up plenty though. Next we pick up pocket kings on the button. A different new player sits down and raises to 300 from under the gun +1. We've got the second best starting hand permissible under standard poker rules. If you made your way here after watching my second channel about training high-end cats and you're not entirely sure what's going on with all the cards and chips, just know that we're in good shape. I 3-bet to 1,000 in order to isolate the opponent. Under the gun +1 calls for 700 more. We're heads up in position. The flop comes 9-4-3 with 2 diamonds. We've got an overpair with a backdoor flush draw. Under the gun +1 checks. There isn't much to be worried about on this flop. I downbet to 800 in order to try to keep the opponent in with a wide range of hands consisting of medium and high pocket pairs that didn't improve on the flop, as well as some high card combinations that are drawing slim. Under the gun +1 calls. The pot's a sizable one. The turn is the 6 of spades. As long as our opponent didn't hit a set of 6s again, it should be a blank. Under the gun +1 checks. He showed interest on the flop. Maybe he has top pairs, something like jacks or 10s. Those combos will be willing to call even bigger bets. I put out 2,000. The opponent was cool calling a flop bet, but he doesn't want to stick around any longer. He folds. We win a nice 3-bet pot. It's just not quite as much as I'd hoped on a good board for our overpair. 4 hours in, we're dealt 7-deuce offsuit once again. We're on the button. Under the gun raises to 200. The cutoff is the opponent that we beat the last time we won with 7-deuce. He 3-bets to 600. Folding to the 3-bet isn't a bad option. In fact, it's probably the best option. We've already seen a lot of aggression. Under the gun and the cutoff could both have premium hands. I just can't help myself though, especially when we've got profit to play with. I cold 4-bet to 2,000, kicking things up a notch. I don't 4-bet very often, and my image is pretty solid today. Under the gun folds. The cutoff isn't as accommodating. He calls for 1,400 more. We're heads up in position in a big pot with absolute trash. The flop comes Queen Jack 3 with 2 clubs. No surprise, we don't connect all that well. The cutoff checks. Flops that come Queen Jack high are going to crush his 4-bet calling range. He can have queens, jacks, ace queen, ace king, etc. But I can have those hands too, along with aces and kings. I take one stab at it, betting 1,400 to try to fold out a hand like pocket tens. If we get any resistance, I'm not going to triple barrel off. The cutoff calls, which is scary. I wouldn't be shocked if he has the nuts or second nuts. The turn is the 8 of diamonds. Doesn't change a whole lot. We've still got air. The cutoff checks. I shouldn't have put any money into this pot to start. I check back to avoid losing any additional money. The river is the king of spades. It's actually another high card that's good for my range as the cold 4-better. The cutoff checks. It's enticing to make one last attempt to try to steal this one, but it's too likely that we're up against something that'll call us down. I give up and check back. The opponent turns over pocket nines and win way too much money with 4th pair. That's the exact type of holding that I would have expected to fold to our flop bet, but we couldn't get him off of it, and his tenacity gets rewarded. I've lost several thousand back from the high point today. It's important to book a win in order to restore the bankroll and some confidence. Time to head out with over 14,000 in profit.